Council members, are we ready to begin?
Yes, ma'am.
When you ready.
All right. I have a letter dated November 14, 2025. Laura Johnson, Clerk of Council, New Orleans City Council, 1300 Perdido Street, New Orleans, Louisiana, 70112. Dear Madam Clerk, pursuant to my authority in Section 3-1075 of the Home Rule Charter of the City of New Orleans, there will be a special City Council meeting on Tuesday, December 23rd, 2025 at 9 a.m. The meeting will be limited to the discussion and consideration of matters relative to the current financial condition of the city, including without limitation the status of the general fund and any changes to expected revenue of funding and ordinance number 30,522 and any other matters that may properly come before the council. Please make the necessary arrangements to have these special meetings cablecast live on the government access television channel and tape for recasting in the future. Sincerely, J.P. Morrell, President, New Orleans City Council. Roll call. Councilmember Morrell. Councilmember Moreno. Councilmember DeRusso.
Here.
Councilmember Harris.
Here.
Councilmember King. Councilmember Green.
Here.
Councilmember Thomas.
Here.
We have 7 members. We have a quorum.
All right, Madam Clerk, we have to receive the legislative auditor's report, so I will move to suspend the rules to add that to the agenda, seconded by President Morrell. 7 yeas, no nays. I need to suspend the rules one more time. Suspend the rules one more time to receive. Excuse me? Yeah. Hey, let me add it to the agenda, and then yes, sir. Two more, one more, 7 yeas and nays. All right, Mr. Burnside.
Michael Burnside, 2015 Felicity. So this is not a matter of substance, it's a matter of process. I went online and looked at the City Council website the other day looking for stuff, and it seems to me that the Legislative Auditor's report's not posted on the City Council website. So I'm unaware if it's posted on some state website. I did try to Google search and failed to find it. So I would suggest at some point that this material be made available to the public electronically. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay. And I guess, like, Anita, afterwards, can we just add this to the agenda online?
Yeah, the clerk's office should be adding that once.
Great. All right, sounds great. All right, Mr. Wagsback and the team. And as always, thank you to you and the city for getting this done, particularly given the holidays.
Okay, good morning. Mike Wagesback, Louisiana Legislative Auditor. Today, December 23rd, 2025, we are presenting our, our review of the drawdown from Moran. So in accordance with the State Bond Commission terms and conditions of approval for the City of New Orleans $125 million revenue notes, we have established that dedicated fund in which we are going to draw down based on today's numbers. Our preliminary review indicates that the city's request totaling $11,688,941. This includes the $6,410,382 that would be transferred to the Chase payroll card account and $5,278,559 to reimburse the city's general fund account, as outlined below. First bullet, we have $6,410,382 payable to the payroll card funding account for the purposes of funding the employee compensation and related employee and employer taxes for the payroll period ending 12/20/2025, as noted in Exhibit A. Second bullet, we have $2,438,228 payable to the city's general fund to reimburse the general fund for fringe benefits, including but not limited to health insurance, pension contributions, and garnishments for the prior pay period ending 12/13/2025, as noted in Exhibit B. Last bullet, we have $2,840,331 payable to the city's general fund account to reimburse the general fund for the monthly payments to municipal police employees retirement system and the Louisiana State Employees Retirement System, known as LASERS, on 12/15/2025. That is noted in Exhibit B. And additionally, we have Exhibit C, D, and E. We can kind of briefly go through. C, of course, is the gross earnings to date and the overtime paid to date, which we've been tracking. Let's see, totals. I'm sorry, that's for the pay period 12/20 on Exhibit C. And the overtime was roughly $260,842, and that's under the projected amount. Exhibit D, we have our year-to-date schedules and detailing gross earnings of $402,713,783,000, of which included in that is $49,446,622 of overtime. Exhibit E is basically the checking activity of the revenue anticipation note, the special fund. And after these transfers are made, upon your approval today, we'll have a balance in that account of $57,165,534. I'll entertain any questions at this time.
Councilmember Thomas.
As always, thank you. Want to continue the question I asked you earlier. Have you gotten in touch, scheduled that meeting with former CAO?
We do have a meeting scheduled.
Good.
Yep.
Good.
Sure do. In
Good.
fact, we'll be meeting later today.
Oh, good. Good. So that'll be before this term
Yes,
is
sir.
over. It was recently learned that the S&P, all three rating agencies, have downgraded the city to A-. If you could use your professional position to explain that to the public and what it means, and also, especially going through this process in terms of accountability, how it could possibly help us, especially once there's more fiscal stability, get that rating back up to where it needs
I
to
think
be.
the downgrade is they're starting to watch it closely.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's some concerns. Fitch did an A-, not completely bad, but they're starting to monitor things a little closer. And I think probably in 6 months they'll probably issue an additional rating based on what they see. The only challenge is I think you're going to go to market maybe in March or sometime for your next infrastructure bond. It's quite possible there may be an interest rate change that could be more than the last one, maybe, but to be seen.
But for the rating agencies that are watching this process and the working relationship, you giving the city the grades it needs, not only to be transparent, to be accountable, hopefully that'll help us too when they take a look at regrading or analyzing again.
I think the transparency and oversight will help.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Councilmember Moreno.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Give us an update on JIIR. I know you've been having communications with the administration, pause, not pause. If we don't get the extension, what would be the cost that we would incur if we can't pause until the 12th? What does that look like?
Yeah, I'm encouraged. The governor has put me in touch with some higher-ups in FEMA. It appears that we're in a process right now. We're going through the project list. I think FEMA wants to take some of the projects off the list, primarily those of which have not really been touched or started. Obviously, after 25 years, if it hasn't started, they're trying to figure out whether there's a true need or not. So we've been in intense discussions with GOSEP, Governor's Office, as well as City New Orleans and FEMA to try to sort through the project list. And we're trying to put together a really good list so that they can bless the extension. And obviously, we won't include anything that's in progress with the JIRR. Now, I'll tell you the only disappointing news, but I think we can work on this, is that it appears that this extension is only going to be 6 months. So we're going to have to work through that, and the governor's committed to working through that process with the folks in D.C. So, obviously, I think all the money is in the possession of GOSEP, the state of Louisiana, as we sit here today. But we're going to have to think strategically as to maybe what we know we can complete in 6 months. And just in the event we're not in this situation, in June 30th, where we have an open road somewhere in the French Quarter and there's a concern, we may have to stand down. So.
Yep. I mean, I guess, with the news that you've received and I know
This is preliminary. This has all been kind of verbal, nothing official.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, I think Council President Morrell put it to me this way. It's like you live to fight another day with getting this extension beyond, should we get that beyond this year, but 6 months is so limited for long-term planning. So that's my concern around that. But if it's a situation, and we'll obviously, this is all something that we'll see what happens. If it's just seeing how the new administration is going to come in and how we're going to operate and work through these projects, and then based on that do another extension. But hopefully if we get a 6-month extension, maybe beyond that point we can get an extension longer than that, taking us into 2028.
Yeah. I think as soon as the 6 months extension comes in, we really need to start asking for the next extension, because I know there's a couple projects, one of which is going to require a lot of coordination with EPA. And I think that project will not finish out, estimate, until December 1 of 2028. So I think maybe, there needs to be maybe a separate extension for certain projects that we can immediately go to work on after the first of the year.
Yep. And to your point, nothing official, and we'll see what actually comes out. But at least if we can get an extension beyond the first of the year and into the first few months, at least we can keep projects, going, and we don't have to do a hard stop should we not get this extension.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you all very much.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate it. Thank
Merry
you for your
Christmas.
time.
I don't
Merry
see you
Christmas
before
to everybody. Thank you all very much and for your hard work, and to the city too. All right. So items 2 and 3 will be deferred to 12:30. Item 4 will be deferred to 1:08, and then that brings us to items 5 and 6, where there are substitute resolutions.
Council members, we need to withdraw Resolution R 25-672.
So ordered.
We have substitute Resolution R 25-672 by Councilmember Jeruso by request, approving and ratifying the release of $6,410,382.45 from the City of New Orleans Employee Emergency Payroll Fund to cover the cost of payroll-related expenses for city employees other than police and fire departments for the payroll period beginning December 7, 2025 and ending December 20th, 2025. The foregoing authorization shall be subject to concurrence by the Louisiana Legislative Auditor in accordance with City Code 70-415.347D. We need to suspend the rules to receive this resolution.
So moved. Seconded by Councilmember Morrell. I'll move to... Move to suspend to add it. Seconded by Councilmember Harris. 7 yeas, no nays. Mr. Burnside?
Michael Eric Burnside, 2215 Felicity. Again, the city website is incomplete. I looked yesterday, and the substitute resolutions are not part of the electronic record. Only the resolutions are, which means they're X's instead of numbers available to those who choose to look at the electronic record. It would be nice if the substitute motions were included in the electronic record. Thank you. I appreciate the previous comments on Gilbert and the bond rating agencies and will not beat those to death. I will, however, mention the letter that the council president has written to the clerk. It would be nice if it was electronically available because it speaks to the status of the general fund, and we have no reports on the status of the general fund, and it would be nice if there was a status report on the general fund as to whether it's decreasing, increasing, or remaining stable. With regards to the rest of it, the city has seemed to use the same number in its estimates. So the $11,361,025.02 has apparently been the same in resolutions number R25, 611, R25-612, and R25-672, all of which are substitute resolutions. Whereas the amount of money given by the legislative auditor seems to have changed somewhat. For example, on Resolution 25-612, the legislative auditor saw fit to okay $6,539,097.91, whereas in substitute Resolution 25-672, he's only okaying $6,410,382.25. So the question stands: why is the city giving us the same numbers? How are the city generating these numbers? Why are they constant even though payroll is changing? I know people, for instance, who have resigned from the law department and left for greener pastures. So surely the payroll is actually changing. And for us to be given the same numbers all the time seems somewhat lazy at best. So the other thing I want to mention briefly, I only have 5 seconds left. Exhibit C does not include police department.
Thank you. I move, seconded by Councilmember Morrell. 7 yeas, no nays.
We have Resolution R25-673 is withdrawn.
It's ordered.
We have substitute Resolution R25-673 by Councilmember Jeruso by request, approving and ratifying the release of $5,278,558.65 from the City of New Orleans Employee Emergency Payroll Fund to cover the payment of the fringe benefits and other payroll-related expenses for the payroll period beginning November 30th, 2025 and ending November 13th, 2025. The foregoing authorization shall be subject to concurrence by the Louisiana Legislative Auditor in accordance with City Code 70-415.347. We need to suspend the rules to receive this resolution.
So moved, seconded by Councilmember Morrell. 7 yeas, no nays. I will move to add to the agenda, seconded by Councilmember Morrell. 7 yeas, no nays. Mr. Burnside?
Michael Eric Burnside, 2215 Felicity. January 11th is going to be my last day of this 8th councilperson business. So in regards to substitute motion 673, vice 613. So we have again the same number, right? $19,604,369.17 given to us by the city. It's the same for both pay periods, even though things have changed. Certainly the legislative auditor has given us different amounts of money, but the point of the matter is he's given us significantly less money. If you look at Resolution 25-673 in conjunction with Resolution 25-613, those two numbers add up to $10,533,000 something or another. They certainly don't add up to 19. So the question is the general fund taking a hit, and if so, by how much? And we come back to the discussion of the status of the general fund, whether it's shrinking, whether it's rising, or whether it's just stable. And I think that I'm really tired, estimating up to. A lady came over and discussed with me a week ago about this concept called estimating up to, which is the letters of the English language in front of the numbers. According to her presentation to me, estimating up to basically means that you can be off by $500,000 or you can be off by $1.1 million. It doesn't seem to really matter to her how far off she is. I would suggest in brief, I sent a long email, that you would include some sort of error bar or some sort of bracket of range where these numbers have validity. Because quite frankly, if you're giving us a number down to the penny, you are implying a certain precision that's factually untrue and can lead people astray in their sets of assumptions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Burnside. All right, I'll move to approve the substitute resolution, seconded by Councilmember Morrell. One more. All right. Happy holidays, happy Festivus, happy Christmas. Motion to adjourn. Right? What do we have? First reads. Do we have first reads? No first reads. You guys are too anxious. All right. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second by Councilmember Green. All in favor? Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you.
Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and Happy Kwanzaa.
Hanukkah's over.
It sure is,
over,
huh?
man.
That's right. So Merry Christmas
Hanukkah's
and
over like Sunday.
Merry Christmas and Happy Kwanzaa.
Happy Kwanzaa.